but so many incredible things are happening right now with our company, and it feels like such an exciting time to be a part of what's happening currently, because I feel like we've learned so much as leaders, as a company. Our standards are so high, and we're just getting better and better and better. And I'm so grateful for the growth that we're experiencing at corporate and the leadership growth that I see across the board all over the world. And I'm really excited also for all of our friends and teammates and other markets all over the world that are really seeing so much success right now. It's exciting to watch them grow. So tonight, we're going to be talking about something that feels almost taboo. And it's not taboo, but people don't like the word sale. Like, I want to hear in the comments, in the chat box, like, what comes to mind when you hear the word sale, right? Like, what do you think when somebody's like, you hear a lot of, I share Isagenix. Like, nobody says I sell Isagenix. And we're going to be talking about that tonight, and I'm really, really excited for this. Our speaker tonight trained at a recent Super Saturday, and it was amazing. Like, I was taking mad notes. I felt so inspired. Heather is shaking her head yes. Like, it was so good, and the feedback was beautiful. Like, I'm already seeing changes in my own team because of her presentation. I'm just going to share this one quote that I love so much before I introduce my beautiful friend. Anything that is worth doing badly until you can do it right. You guys know who said that? I think it came from John Maxwell, but it might have originated somewhere else. But I heard it from John Maxwell. Anything worth doing is worth doing badly until you can do it right. And that's what we're doing here with One Team University, is coming together and teaching you guys the skills and the tools, and helping you realize that it is just tools. It is just skill sets that we have to practice over and over and over again and do it badly until we do it right. And that is success. And as you hear the stories and trainings of these different leaders all over the world, I hope you realize that you are the secret sauce. Like, we each can do this as long as we're willing to practice and be bad before we get good. So with that being said, I think that most of the leaders in this company, and you yourselves, like, I want you guys to ask yourself this question, what has been the biggest blessing since you came into Isagenix? What have been the biggest blessings? And without fail, I truly believe that most of the leaders in this company would say the community, the culture, the friends that they've made in this company. And as I have started working with Nicole Hammontree, my life has been so blessed. Truly, truly blessed as she's come into my life. She has such a huge heart, and I'm going to share some of the accolades that she has earned and achieved in Isagenix. But I want you guys to know that this was a stressed out, tired mom who was working her tail off in so many different places across the board, trying to help her family financially and trying to be a good mom and a good wife and a good friend. And her story is so inspiring because she never quit. She's a fighter. She's hardworking, and she has a heart of gold, and she just never quit. And when Isagenix came into her life, like so many others, it was a clear path for her. And I want her to share, Nicole, share more of your story. But I am so grateful that she said yes to this opportunity, because it means that she's in my life. And as we have gone on trips together and spent late nights talking together, my heart has been so full. And anyway, Nicole, thank you so much for joining us tonight. A little bit about Nicole, if you don't know her, and I'm sure we're going to have lots and lots of views on YouTube. So let me just tell you that Nicole is married to her best friend, Michael, who is the yang to her yin. Her highest accomplishment are her 4 children. And they're, oh my gosh, I'm having flashbacks, Nicole, of our fast track together with your sons. Like, these guys are going to do some amazing things in the world. They are like tough spirits and have so much, they're just so funny. Nicole loves to, let me get this right, wakeboard, right? Snowboard. I mean, we got to go snowboarding here soon, Nicole. She loves the ocean, hiking, and helping others regain their joy and their health in this life. It's, as far as Isagenix goes, guys, this is a pretty remarkable thing that she's accomplished in just a few years, ladies. She was the Welcome Home Challenge winner. Her team won the championship cruise. Her husband and Nicole just attended their very first Top Achievers. And where was that one at? In The one in Canada?
Maui.
Maui. That's right. Yeah, we were there. Okay, and then they just qualified for Disneyland, guys. So let's give her like some big shout outs and big applause because that was a big challenge. I know her kids are so excited for that. She was a shooting star recipient and one of the women of Isogenics. She got that award, which is hand selected by Kathy Coover. And she's a 5-star Golden Circle, 2-star Crystal Executive, and our friend. So Nicole, I'm going to go ahead and hand this over to you. And I'm going to go to the big screen so we can see what you have to share tonight.
Awesome. All right. Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. I'm turning I've got my diffuser going and it's making too much noise. Okay. Let me know when you're ready, Trish.
Yep. I'm giving it to you right now, girl.
All right. So I am going to be sharing my screen with you because I do have some slides that I would like to share with you guys. But I want to start by sharing my story with you. Some of you know my story, some of you don't, but I started Isogenics. It'll be 5 years in May. And I will tell you that it took me 15 months to say yes to this incredible nutrition. I needed it desperately, but I was extremely skeptical of anything. I had tried literally anything out there. I had tried so many things that I was certain that I would fail on Isogenics. And it was only because this spunky little, fun, energetic girl had popped me in a page and I was continually watching all these different transformations. And so 15 months later, after saying no many, many times, I finally called Tanya Kirkpatrick up and I said, listen, I don't care how much it costs. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. At the time, I was overweight, but that is actually not what got me interested in getting started with Isogenics. I was a very busy mom, and I couldn't sleep. I literally just could not sleep. The stress was so high. A lot of people don't know our entire story, and hopefully someday I'll be brave enough to tell it all. But I was working 3 jobs. I owned my own photography business. We owned a food truck, and I worked doing marketing for a pediatric dental office. And there still was never enough money at the end of the month to make ends meet. And so it was hard. Here's my real life. I'm sorry, my dogs are going to bark. It was really, really hard. I had 3 kids in 3 different sports going in different directions, and I was separating from my husband. Imagine trying to handle all of that at one time. It was way too much for me. So fast forward, I'm loving the products, even though I said absolutely no. I was certain I was going to return it. So I want you to remember, when you have people in your life that are skeptical, let them be skeptical. Keep loving them right where they are and keep sharing with them. You just live your life out loud, and we're going to talk about that with sales tonight. We're just going to talk about how important it is to live out loud, because if Tanya wasn't living her life out loud, I wouldn't have seen her on social media. I wouldn't have seen her, just raving about incredible sleep, and I never would have reached out to her. Don't be worried about how many posts someone might see of yours. Don't be worried about overposting, oversharing. Don't worry about being yourself at all times, because the right people are going to find you. So I was just as stubborn with the business as I was the nutrition. I got started, I had incredible results, and I was terrified to share with anybody. So you notice how I said the word share. I didn't even want anyone to know what I was doing, but when you lose 55 pounds, people start noticing. They're like, what are you doing? Like, what's going on in your life? Something's different. And I love to tell the story that I was closet sharing. I was very quietly like, don't tell anybody, but this is what I'm doing. It's called Isogenics. I can help you get set up, but let's just not really talk about it with other people. That was my attitude. And then Tanya Kirkpatrick basically told me that I was going to NYKO. She said, what are you doing this weekend? It was, a couple weeks in nothing's on the calendar. And she said, so there's no sporting events. There's nothing that weekend. And I was like, no. She goes, okay, great. I have a ticket, I have a ride, and I have a place for you to stay. What's your excuse now? And I was like, I guess I'm going. I used my children as my excuse all the time in the beginning of my build. And it took someone saying to me, your children are your why, not your excuse. And yet you seem to have it very backwards. And that was really hard for me to swallow. I was not happy with her when she said that to me because she was right. I always used my kids as an excuse. Oh, I can't do that. My kids have this. Oh, I can't do that. My kids have this. I was unwilling to miss anything at that time. And guess where my business was? Nowhere, right? It was going nowhere because I wasn't willing to invest in myself. So it was at that event that I decided that I was going to do this. I was going to make this work for me. Like I said, I was at that moment at NYKO, I decided to walk away from my marriage. And I will get to that. It has a happy ending. But I decided I'm done. I'm going to walk away from this. I can't do this anymore. And I kept seeing these women that were just like me walking across the stage, 6-7-figure income earners. And I thought to myself, if they can do it, I can do it. And that event brought me to life. And I said to myself, I will be on that stage next year. And I was. It is so important to have the belief in yourself that what you want to do, that you can do it. Because if you don't believe in you, no one else is going to believe in you. And that's the posture we're going to talk about a little bit tonight. You have to have posture. You have to have belief in yourself. And you have to make sure that you are radiating every single bit of that into your life, in your everyday activities, in your interaction with anybody that you come in contact with. So I get the pleasure of talking about falling in love with the art of the sale or the art of persuasion. So I'm really, really curious. How many of you guys have ever been a server in a restaurant? Like putting yourself through college maybe? No one? Never? No one's a server? Okay, so I put myself through college. I paid for college on my own with a scholarship and with work. I've always been a hard worker. I've never been afraid of it. It's really hard for me to sit, by the way. I loved being active and working towards my goals, and it didn't matter what it was. So I served. Serving is sales. I did marketing for my businesses. Marketing is sales. Anything that you do where you're recommending something to somebody, we don't like to use the word, but it's sales, right? When you're dating, you're first dating someone, guess what that is? That's sales. You're selling yourself to somebody else. And yet we are all so afraid of the word sale or to sell, right? Every time you sell your mood, yeah, that's true. So I want you to think about this. If you're here, do you love selling? I want to see, I can see every single one of you who I can see. Raise your hand. Do you love to sell? Like you're like, woohoo, I get to ask for the final sale. I'm so excited about this, right? One person just raised their hand. Here's the thing I want you guys to really think about. If you're afraid to sell, you are not going to be able to serve. Think about that. What we do is service. We are serving other people by offering them a gift of Isagenix. But if we're too afraid to ask for the sale or to sell, we rob them of the opportunity that they have with Isagenix. It is imperative that you get comfortable with selling. So I'm just going to share with you right now that by the end of this call, I really want to know if your mood or your thoughts or your feelings on sales has changed. Because I want you by the end of this to be so excited to lean into the sale and ask for it when you're ready. Because when you do that with posture and with love and the things that we're going to talk about, you're going to find selling so much different than what you are thinking right now. How many of you believe that at some point in your life, something happened or someone told you that sales was bad? Like we have this idea or a negative connotation of sales. Would you agree? Right? No one likes to be sold. I know I don't. I can tell when somebody is selling me. And so I want you to get that out of your mind, because sales is not bad. We do it every day. You just have to change your mindset on what that is. All right, so I do have a bit of a presentation to show you. Hold with me real quick. All right. Can you guys see my slides? Anybody? Yes, no? Okay, thanks, Trisha. All right, so like I said, we are gonna talk about sales. Oh wait, what is going on here? Hold on. Okay, there we go. I don't know why that was moving. Was that you, Trisha? Were you moving? Okay. So we are going to talk a little bit about sales today. And really, it's the art of persuasion, which is, like Trisha mentioned, it tends to be a little bit taboo. People think, oh my gosh, like sales, I don't want to do that. I've got this feeling of it being scary. So I want you to think about it in this way. Selling is truly, oh gosh, now it won't go. Hold on. Sorry about that. The oxygen of our business. If you're afraid to sell, you won't be successful. So the more comfortable you get with selling, the more successful you become in Isagenix. It truly is a must. So we're going to really dig into what sales is. Oh goodness, this is going to give me a hard time here. Okay, I want you to think of this. When you think of Mother Teresa, do you think of her being a salesperson? Right? You think of her as just someone who was able to lead people, but she was actually one of the very best salespersons on the planet. She could get anybody to do just about anything. And luckily, her mission or her passion in this world was a good thing. But if you were around her, you wanted to do what she was doing. You wanted to be a part of what she was being. And yet we don't think of her in a negative way. We think of her as this amazing person who changed the world, because leaders are salespeople. And we just see it so differently. The same thing with Martin Luther King Jr. He was a salesman. He had this personality. He was authentic, and he was bold in what he wanted, and he was anchored in his belief and his passions, and people followed him for that. He had to sell himself in order to get the people that he was working with to follow him. He had a nation of people that followed him because he was really good at sales. So again, do you do what you love? If you want to serve more or to make more of an impact, you are going to have to learn to be better at sales. So if you really truly love what you do, listen to this. You have to care about what you do so much that it hurts when someone doesn't start with you. So when you present this opportunity to someone and they don't get started with you, it needs to hurt your heart that they didn't get started, because that means that you might not have done your job. Like you totally let them down. So when you think about it in that hurts a little bit, right? Like when you have someone that says no to you, we all are afraid of that no. I want you to change your perspective on those no's and just think, how can I better serve this person? How can I be better at what I love? And how can I be better at sales? Because I have to sell in order for them to understand and get what I'm trying to give them. We love to look at Isagenix as this amazing gift that we have, right? Here's the trick. You have to be authentic when you share with people. You have to. It's a must. You must have enthusiasm and love of what you do. I want you guys, if you haven't written that down, write that down, because it's huge. It's one of the biggest parts of selling is that you must be authentic and you must have enthusiasm for what you do. So there are 3 things that people are really want when considering a purchase. First of all, it's authenticity. Here's the thing. Authenticity is so incredibly underrated these days. People are so busy trying to be like somebody else that they forget that if they were just themselves, that the right people in their life would be attracted to them. But we're so busy copying other people that we lose who we are. I want to tell you, it's okay 100% to be yourself. Stop trying to copy somebody. Stop trying to find things that you like about somebody else and trying to become them. If you're here, I'm assuming that you are building an Isagenix business, and I'm assuming that you've had incredible results with Isagenix. If not, you're going to. You're here, you're brand new, and you're watching. If you're brand new, you have a leg up on all of us, because when you first start sharing about Isagenix, guess what? You are just on fire with ignorance. You are authentically sharing your story. And I can tell you that's when I had the most success as well, because I shared from the heart and I didn't know what I didn't know. I was just telling people. Go back to when you first got results and how authentic you were in sharing about Isagenix. Give yourself the permission to be the most authentic version of yourself. Be ignorance on fire again. Be you. Don't try to be a top leader. Don't try to copy everything that they're doing. You will never be the best copycat that there is, but you will always be able to be the best version of yourself. All right. Enthusiasm. As you can tell, I'm so excited about just sharing what I'm sharing with you guys. People can tell if you're not authentic. They can tell when you don't have enthusiasm. It comes across. People will read it on you. So I want you to think about this. Right before you have a meeting with someone, I want you to get up and turn some crazy music on and dance it out and have some fun and get your energy really, really high. Get in state. Don't walk into a meeting after a bad conversation. Don't come into it on a low. Because truly, who wants to go into a conversation about something where someone's not enthusiastic about what they're sharing? If I came to you and I was like, oh yeah, that's a really good movie, you should go see it. Honestly, would you go see the movie? Absolutely not. But if I came in with my heart and I wore it on my sleeve and I told you the things I loved about the movie and I was excited and passionate about it, guess what? People are going to go see that movie, right? So we have to just share our passion enthusiastically. And enthusiastic does not mean obnoxious. It doesn't need to be loud. It just means that you're sharing from your heart, right? You're passionate about what you're sharing. So when you do that, you truly, truly have the ability to change someone else's life. I know that I have been able to really impact other people's lives when I am at my best self and I'm being my best self. When I walk into a meeting with who I am, I know who I am, I'm excited to be there. That's when I have that opportunity to truly make the biggest impact on somebody else. So be the real deal, authentic, you, and be enthusiastic. Those two things right there are what people want most from you. And besides the next thing is really, truly important. You have to be transparent, right? This is key. Sales is really selling yourself. And that's really hard for some people at times to understand, but people buy from people they know, like, and trust. So when I was waiting tables, for example, when I was younger, when I walked up to a table, I sold myself, meaning I connected with people. I complimented people. I found some way to make a connection with my table, every single table. And it's not because I had training. It's just something that I do because that's authentically me. And if it's not something that feels comfortable for you, you need to practice being able to make a connection with someone. If you're at the grocery store, here's something. Watch people's faces. Watch what they do as they walk in and out of a grocery store. How many people are looking down? How many people don't have a smile on their face? Here's something I want you to try. The next time you go to the grocery store, start looking people in the eyes and just say, hi, oh my gosh, your bag is so cute. Or, hi, I have to stop you and tell you that color looks beautiful on you. Don't talk to them with any intention of getting anything. Just say something to make them smile. I try to do this all of the time, and I cannot tell you how many people have stopped me and said, I don't know why you said that to me, but I was having a really bad day and you just made me happy. You put a smile on my face. People are longing for connection, for somebody to be real with them, someone to be just truly transparent with them. I love to just make people smile. It is something that lights me up inside. And when I am selling, whatever it is I'm selling, if I'm selling a book, like a recommendation to someone, because that's a sale, if I'm recommending something to someone, I'm not like reaping a benefit, but I'm still selling them. I'm trying to get them to persuade them to like something I like, to go see something I've seen. It's a persuasion. And when I make a connection with someone, I'm much more likely to get them to agree to what I'm trying to get them to do, right? And it's not hard. It's just be yourself, make a connection, give a compliment. Anytime I meet someone new, the very first thing I try to do is give them a compliment, whether I'm trying to sell something or not, because who doesn't like a compliment? Truly, if you're standing in line at the grocery store, every single time you should be complimenting the girl behind the counter, the person in front of you. Make people feel heard and seen and appreciated. In all honesty, it's going to be crazy when you start doing this if it's not something you already do. So we truly are our best selves when we're real and raw. So go out into the world and be yourself on the daily. Whatever you're doing, it doesn't matter if you're talking about Isagenix, but what you're going to do is you're going to start to attract like people to you. And in sales, that's really what we want. And here's the thing. How many of you have had someone try to sell something to you and you realized it was all about them, right? It was about the person trying to get the sale or trying to get you to do what they wanted you to do. What people truly want to know is that they want to see that you care. When you make it all about the other person, they will feel that way. They're going to feel that it's about them. So stop making it about yourself. Stop being afraid to ask for the sale. When you make that part of the process about you and about your fear, you take everything away from that person that you're trying to sell because you're making it about yourself. So if you are too afraid to ask for a sale, guess what you're making it? You're making it about your own feelings, right? If you love Isagenix, if you love this company, if you love this compensation plan, you cannot be afraid of what they're going to think, because we know that we have the very best products. We know we have the very best compensation plan. We know that these products will change someone's life, right? Don't be apologetic about asking for someone to take a look at it, because when you do, you're making that all about you. So on social media, here's the deal, guys. People are seeing the highlight reel. If you are not sharing your story authentically on social media, you're missing the boat. And when I say don't leave people in the rut, I'm going to go back to my story, because what happened when I told you guys, like, I was leaving my husband, right? Luckily, Isagenix brought my family back together. And I share stuff like that on my social media. I don't leave people in a ditch. I tell the whole story, but I make sure I leave them on a high, but I share the hard times. I don't just share all the amazing, great things that are happening in my life, because that's not real, right? It's just not real. I share what's going on with my kids. I share what's going on with me. I share when I'm struggling. I share it all. I just always leave people that, like, on a higher note, and I leave them with what I've learned from the experience. But that is me sharing authentically me. People are tired of the instant millionaire stories, right? They're just not as powerful as they used to be. What people really, truly want from you they want authenticity and transparency. You do not need, please write this down. This is so important. You do not need to be perfect and polished. You do not need to be ready to do this. You do not need to know everything there is to know about everything. All you need to do is show up, authentically you, excited to share Isagenix with other people, excited to share this compensation plan with other people, and you will attract the people that are meant to be on your team. Please understand that. You have to show up. People are hungry to be part of this. They're hungry for community. They're hungry to belong to something. They are praying right now for someone just like you, and maybe it's you, to come into their life and bring them the solution. Trisha was praying for a solution in her life, right? I was silently praying for something. I was desperate for something different. So if somebody was not being themselves, I would have missed out on something that totally could have changed my life. Please hear me say, start. Just start. Even if you think you're not ready, start where you are and fail forward. Fail forward every single day. Fail forward in everything you do, because failure is part of success, right? Some people say the opposite of success is failure, or the opposite of failure is success. It's not true. Failure is part of success. So if you're afraid to fail, you're never going to succeed. Just fail on a day. That I fail forward every single day. Every day. In all aspects of my life, I continually fail forward, and I'm so incredibly grateful for that. So we're going to skip this. I will tell you, if you can find somebody in your life, because I can't obviously do partners here, I want you to think about this. Find somebody in your life that you can try to persuade into something. So think about a book or a movie or a meal or something, and go to your spouse tonight and try to persuade them with absolutely no passion, no authenticity, no enthusiasm. I want you to just try be as bland as possible and try to get them to say yes to whatever it is you're trying to get them to do. No emotion, just bland, right? You'll end up in a total tizzy laughing about it because it's so awkward. I want you to remember that every time you go into a conversation with somebody about anything that you're trying to get them to do, you have to be authentic. You have to have enthusiasm, or you will not get anywhere with anybody. So here's the deal. Don't be this guy. I'm going to kind of share two scenarios, and I want you to think about a time in your life where you have felt one or the other of these, or maybe both. So I want you to kind of imagine being at a dealership, right? You and your family pull up, and you're going to buy a car, and nobody enjoys buying cars. It's not something that's fun to do, but you pull up and you see all the guys standing there, and the guy's turn, because it's like they have some kind of rotation or something, and the one guy's high five and everybody walks over to you, and he's like, hey, and he sells some stuff. He's like, yeah, I've been doing this for this long. He's like, I know exactly what you want, dude. He's like, you gotta come see this car. It's a roadster, and it goes this fast, and it has this under the hood, and you gotta take this for a drive. Sorry. And he never, ever asks what you want. How many have been in a situation like that? It may not be a car. It may be something different, but the person trying to get you to do what they want made it all about them. Used car salesmen have that kind of used carsman, funky, what's the word? I don't know, no one likes a used car salesman. I feel bad for anyone who has to do that. But you know what I'm talking about, right? It's that feeling of, ew, they're icky. They're just icky. I want you to think about that when you're trying to persuade someone to get started with Isogenics. Don't make it about you. We talk about our 30-second story, and we did the Eric Worre story at this past Super Saturday. If you've never learned how to share your story the Eric Worre way, I definitely, I think you really need to reach out to one of your leaders and find out what that is, because it's a great way to share your story. But when you share your story, don't make it all about you. When you walk up to someone, don't make it all about you. In all honesty, people don't care. They don't care about your story. When you're cheering all about you and you're verbally vomiting on someone about everything that Isogenics has, you're being the used car salesman. You're being this guy, right? You're making it all about you. So you can't do that. So I'm going to give you another scenario, and I want you to kind of tell me which one feels better in the chat. So you pull up to purchase a car, and the guy walks up to the door, and he says, hi. He's like, okay, I know that nobody loves coming to buy cars. It's not a great experience, and I want to make this as painless as possible for you. Would you do me a favor and just tell me everything that you are looking for? Tell me what you need. What did you come for today? Are you looking for this? Are you looking for this? Are you looking for this? I'm going to do my very best to get you exactly what you want, and if I can't do that, then I'm just going to shake your hand and let you go, because I want to just make sure that you get what you came for, right? How much better is that? Because it had nothing to do with the car salesman. He wasn't pushing his own agenda. He related with the person, right? He's going to say, I understand this is not This is not fun for anybody, right? He just made a connection with that person because nobody likes to go and buy new cars. Well, some people do, but a lot of people, they don't like that. So he made that connection with someone of saying, hey, I know that this isn't comfortable. And what does that do? That brings someone, it breaks their guard. They bring their guard down because they're like, oh, he understands me. He sees what I see, right? And he starts to ask the questions of, okay, so how many seats do you need? Like, how big do you want it? Are you looking for it to do this or this? And what he's doing, he's getting in the mind of the person that he's trying to sell to. How many people like the way that the second scenario feels, right? Everybody likes that second scenario. Remember when you're doing sales, and yes, it is sales, that you want to be the second guy. You want to be that second guy and get into the mind of the person that you're trying to sell to. You need to know your client's desires and needs and wants so much better than anybody else, because when you do, that is when you can make the connection and you can help people get started. So what's the secret? Sorry. The secret is just that. You have to enter the mind of the conversation that is already taking place in the mind of your prospect. So go back to when you first got started. Really think about your fears, your concerns. What was it that you had questions about? Because most likely, the people that you're talking to on a daily basis with Isagenix, they have the same thoughts, the fears, the desires, the hopes, right? When you can address those things before they even open their mouth, you're getting into their mind and you're connecting with them. This is the crazy thing. People don't buy what they need. They buy what they want. It's true. You need to get in the mind of the people that you're talking to and show them that they truly do want Isagenix. Even if they need it, it doesn't mean they'll buy it. But show them that they're missing out if they don't have it. Make them want it so badly that they're not going to say no to you, right? And the way to do that is to get into their mind, get into the conversation that's happening in their head already. Because when people feel understood, that is when you make a connection. When you can get into their head and really make them feel like you care, like you've heard them, and that they are understood, they are much more likely to buy from you. So that's kind of where you're looking through the eyes of your client. So if you've been watching this series, Rebecca did a really great training on an avatar, like how to market yourself and brand yourself to a specific person. There's all kinds of really great trainings by Isagenix leaders. They're free. I really highly recommend watching a couple of those. You need to know your avatar. And I can tell you in simplistic form that normally your avatar is you probably 5 years ago. Depending on how long you've been in Isagenix, it's you before Isagenix, right? You are talking to people who are just like you. That's your avatar. And it's kind of weird, right? Like, oh wait, that makes sense. I'm able to connect with people, moms, busy, crazy moms that have kids that are working, that want to stay home with their family, that don't want to leave every single day, that are not able to spend the money that they want to spend on their kids. I mean, I know my avatar. Like, I know who I'm talking to because it was me before Isagenix. Who is your avatar? Look through their eyes. And it's easy to do if you just go back to before you started, because they are your eyes. If you're attracting your avatar, you're looking through your own eyes. Get into your head. How did you think about things before you got started with Isagenix? So here's the thing. You need to know what people's biggest fears are. What do they worry about? What do they least sleep about? Know their desires and their dreams. Guess how you do that? Ask people. You are so afraid of asking questions. How many of you are so afraid to ask the questions that need to be asked? You have got to make it about them. Make every single conversation about the people. When you know their biggest fears, and I ask, okay, listen, I'm gonna repeat this exactly the way that I would say it. Hold on. If you're able to say, hey, I'm a little confused. If in a year from now you try this, what would your life look like? if you try this in a year from now, what would your life look like? And then listen to everything that they tell you. And then you can turn around and you can say, okay, so why are you not starting today? Right? And you just told me this, and this. What if a year from now you had all those things? Because are you asking people the questions? Like, are you digging deep? Are you painting a picture of what's possible? That is all sales. It's not scary. There's nothing scary about sales. What is scary is if you don't sell to people, right? I would be stuck in a body I hated, in jobs that I was not fulfilled in a life that I did not love. I probably would be divorced. I'd be trying to raise 3 kids by myself. Could you imagine what would have happened in my life if I wouldn't have been given this opportunity by Tanya Kirkpatrick? What if the person that introduced you to Isagenix was too afraid to open their mouth and ask you to get started? So when you think about sales, I really want you to think about what a sale is actually meaning. It is not what you think it is. Here's the honest truth, and this is true for everybody. People will buy from you when they feel understood, not when they understand you, right? So get into the mind of the people that you're talking to. Create relationships. Sales is relationships. Any sales course you are ever going to take, they're going to tell you that sales are relationships. That's why sometimes it takes 10, 12 touches before you can actually get someone to say yes to you, because you're building trust. You're building a relationship. You are actually building something. Don't worry if people don't get started the first time you talk to them, right? Because you're building a relationship. Even if you have a relationship with them, they have to learn to trust you on this one point. I work 90% in my cold market. 90% of what I do in cold market. And it's because I'm able to build relationships with people. I'm able to listen to them. I'm able to talk to them in a way that makes them feel understood. So are you asking questions? Are you making it really truly about the person that you're talking to? Or do you get lost in your fear of what people think of you? Fear is a liar. Fear is a liar. Don't be afraid to ask for the sale. And here's the thing, they might say no. I said no to Tanya, I don't know how many times. What if she had been afraid to say again and again to me, hey, is this for you? What if your enrolling sponsor was afraid to ask you because maybe you said no once or twice, right? I mean, very few people hear about Isagenix and sign up right on the spot. It happens. It totally happens. But very few people just go, yep, I'm on it. I want it. Let's go. Because they don't even know they're looking for it when you meet them. They don't even know. So really, truly remember, just because someone says no to you, first of all, I want you to understand this. They're not saying no to you. Okay? Stop taking things personally. They're not telling you no. They're not ready right now. I wasn't ready for 15 months. I wasn't turning Tanya Kirkpatrick down. It wasn't about her. It wasn't personal. I wasn't ready. I wasn't personally ready to get started. Were you ready the first time that your enrolling sponsor asked you? If you said no, were you being mean? Was it all about them? No, you weren't ready. It happens. Remember, don't take the no so personally. It has nothing to do with you at all. It's just that they're not ready. I've had people watch me for 3 years and get started. 3 years. That's crazy, right? No, it's really not. They weren't ready. They just weren't ready when the first time or second time or third time I approached them about it. A lot of them are people I didn't even approach. They just watched me from afar. They never liked, never commented on anything on my social media. And one day I get a message, which I just got last night. Hey, that thing you're doing, I'm ready to get started. And I'm always blown out of the water. And I'm like, what do you mean? You've never said anything to me. You guys, people are watching you. Wherever you go, whatever you do, know people are watching you. It's why it's so important to be consistent on your social media. It's important to not get in that rut and make it about you. Lindsay's training last week, if you didn't watch it, you should watch it. If you're feeling a little like you might need a good kick in the pants, go watch Lindsay's training, because you have got to get out of your own way and get on track with Isagenix. We have the very best products and the very best compensation plan, you guys. We have the ability to change someone's life, both physically and financially, but you have to open your mouth in order to do that. If you never open your mouth, you'll never give this gift of Isagenix to somebody. So you really, truly, please promise me that when you go to do this, you will lean into the sale. You will not change your posture. You are going to be enthusiastic. You are going to sell that person with authenticity, enthusiasm, and transparency. I have to share a story really fast with you. I don't even know what time it is. I get so into stuff. So a couple weeks ago, I went to the Growth Summit here in Arizona, and there was several different amazing leaders on stage. And a lot of this training that I just shared with you is from Dean, oh gosh, I can't even say his name, Graziosi. I don't know. His book is The Millionaire Success Habits. I love this book, by the way. But he gets on stage. He does this incredible presentation on selling and the art of persuasion. And a couple people later, Tony Horton gets up. If you don't know who Tony Horton is, he's like a really big fitness guy. And he is up there. He's excited. He's jumping around. He's sharing what he does. He's telling us all about his new program. He is so enthusiastic. And no joke, this is what he does when he goes for the sale. And this is why it's so important not to do this. You have to step up and lean into the sale. And that's why that says lean in. Tony Horton drops his head and he starts stepping backwards and he starts apologizing for asking you to buy his product. How many people in the audience do you think bought that product that day? Not very many. Not very many. Because he forgot that what he had was amazing. But when he went to ask us to buy it, he wasn't sure. He wasn't sure if it was worth it. So people aren't going to buy from you if you say, okay, the value pack's, $589. I'm sorry, I know that's a lot of money. You don't have to start with that one. I mean, I know that, that's a lot of money to come up with, and we can start you with a lower pack. I mean, we've got other options, but yeah, like what's going to happen, right? Sorry. I get so excited. If you don't get excited and stay in the same state that you were in the conversation when you ask for the sale. So you're telling them all about the value pack. You're super excited about the value pack. You list all the benefits of the value pack, why it's the best pack, why it's the most successful pack, and why they need to get started with it. Hey, okay, great. It's $589 plus tax and shipping. Do you want to get started right now? What's the credit card? I mean, however you close, people, I have a way to do it, but I don't back down. I do not change my posture. I do not apologize for the fact that the value pack is the best pack there is, that they're going to have the best results, and that it's $589. I don't back down. I am excited for them because I know it's going to change their life. If you are apologizing for asking for people to get started because it's too expensive in your mind, guess what? People aren't going to sign up with you. And they're definitely not going to start with the pack you want them to start with. The value pack is the best pack to start with. At least that's what we do on our team. I don't know what you do on your team. Whatever pack you start with, you have to be sure. You have to be sure that that is the right pack for that person. Do not back down. Do not apologize. Do not drop your head. Do not step backwards if you're face to face. You stay in the same state, in the same energy, in the same enthusiasm, in the same excitement as you did when you were telling them about it. Just like if you were telling somebody that they've got to go see The Greatest Showman on Earth. Like, that's an incredible movie. It's, and I'm not going to go, but you don't have to see it. I know it's really expensive. Or, oh, sorry, it's a musical. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be just as excited. Like, let's go see the movie. I've seen it 700 times. I still want to see it. Let's go. Right? Like, you have to be enthusiastic. Lean into the sale. Be excited. Do not change your posture. And really just keep that same you. Don't change. Don't tell them that it's okay to start with a lower pack. If they're like, you know what, I really can't afford it, awesome. Let's figure out a way to make that happen for you. Did you know that I can show you a way to get your products paid for? All you have to do is have 2 people join you. That's when you go into the compensation plan. It's not when you back down and say, oh, okay, well, we'll just start you with the 30-day basic pack. No! If you're not sharing the amazing compensation plan, if you're not, sharing that if they have 2 people start with them, that they can pretty much get their pack paid for, you are doing a disservice. Our compensation is the best compensation plan there is out there. We have so much upfront money for people. For me, if someone can't afford it, they're the person who needs it the most. I needed it. I did not care what it cost at that point because I knew I needed it, right? I have people sell their stuff like garage sale, have a garage sale. If they're not willing to bring 2 people in, which a lot of people are like, oh, like whatever. I'm like, whatever. So you don't want to have other people get healthy with you? Find some accountability partners. Like people are more successful when they have someone to do something with. Who goes to a movie by themselves? Not many people. I know some people do. Who wants to go to a brand new restaurant in town by themselves? Who's going to go to a concert by themselves? No, you're going to take people with you. The same thing. Share that with people. Hey, when's the last time you did this by yourself? No, you grab a couple people. You're going to go on a hike. Most people say, hey, let's go on a hike together. It's fun to do things as a community, and you need to be enthusiastic about your community of Isogenics. Invite people into it, right, with that same enthusiasm, and show them how to get their products paid for. If they're like, I don't know anybody, really? There's like 7 billion people on the planet. You don't know anybody, right? Like people know people. They're just afraid to admit it. Have them start making their list. Have them get excited about it. And if they can't start right now, I always, always, always tell them, okay, awesome. Listen, here are some ways to figure out how to pay for this. Have a garage sale. We all have stuff in our house that we don't use, right? I have stuff that I don't use. Could you sell it? Could you get on a neighborhood page and make some money? What if you made half of it, in one day? Every time I have a garage sale, I make about $600 or $700. Like, you have crap around your house, go sell it. Like, you're never going to use it. You're going to use this. Show them the benefits. And if you've never heard Chris Harder's Overcoming Objections, listen to that, because he's going to show you exactly what I just told you. To get into the mind of the person that you're selling to, you need to come up against the objections before they have them. So for me, I'm asking them what they're eating already. Like, what do you have twice a day? What's that costing you? What are you spending? This is truly a reallocation of funds. You're just going to take what you're spending there, you're going to spend it over here. I've done all that before we even talk about the price of Isogenics. I have gotten into their mind, and I'm asking them questions, and I'm answering their questions while I'm asking them, right? I'm asking questions that answer questions that they're already going to come up with. So I don't have the price objection at the end, because I'm going to show them they're already spending the money. And if they're not, I'm going to ask them if their health is worth the investment in just a couple dollars more. Is it worth it to spend a couple more dollars a day to get the results that you're looking for? Are you fueling your body currently with the things that you need to get the results that you want? If not, are you willing to invest in your health and your best self to get those results? How many people do you think are going to say no? Oh, no, I'm not important. I'm not worth it, right? And even if they can't afford it at that moment, I will show them. I will talk to them about ways to get their products paid for. I share the compensation plan. Tanya had me, like, this is no joke. This is how I started Isogenics. I had a little white envelope, and I tell the story because it's true. And she's like, put money in it. Like, just whatever extra money you have, just put money in it until you can buy the value pack. I was like, okay. But here's the thing. When people truly want something, they'll find a way. It's true. I didn't have the money, but 2 days later, I somehow came up with $600 something for a value pack. I wanted it, right? Like, she told me I couldn't start with anything else. So that's what I started with. Like, okay, like, I got to start with that pack. There was never like, oh, well, do you have something else? Like, I can't afford it. I can't spend that. I'm cheap, y'all. I'm super cheap. Like, I don't like to spend money on myself at all. And I spent the money because I wanted it. She got in my head. She knew that I needed it, and she showed me the value of it, and she got me wanting it. So I ended up getting an extra client, and I ended up paying for it. If you want it, you find a way. If you don't, you find an excuse, right? So don't be afraid to ask for the sale. Don't be afraid to lean into it. Come to the party ready. Know the questions. And if you have to role play with someone, role play until you have it so good that you are unstoppable. Because if you come and you're scared and you back away and you apologize, it's not going to do either of you any good. because you're not going to serve that person and they're not going to get the gift of Isagenix. So I probably have gone over time. I'm right on time. Yay! Do I have any questions? Go ahead and unmute yourself if you want, or put it in the chat box. I've not been paying attention to the chat box. I'm so sorry. I get a lot, I get overexcited. I get really excited about stuff. So sorry about that, y'all. All right. So are there any questions? Like, can I answer anything for you? No, I did that good. No one has a single question. None? Sorry if I got a little excited there, guys. No questions, huh? I can't even see my chat box. Where'd the chat box go? No questions, huh? Oh, good. Thank you. All right. Does anyone want to share your biggest takeaway? What's your biggest takeaway? Somebody. Or I did not do my job. Okay, let me ask you this. If no one wants to share anything, raise your hand or put in the chat box if you are less afraid of selling. Lean into the sale. Awesome. Don't apologize. Failure is part of success. Shout them out. Go ahead. Whoever, Joy, you're ready to sell. Awesome. Who else is ready to sell? Who else is ready to change some lives? Be excited, be passionate, be enthusiastic, be transparent, right? Okay, is anyone else still really afraid to sell? Anybody? Or are you too afraid to say that you're afraid to sell? All right. Well, I had so much fun tonight. Like, I think I might go run a couple miles because I'm so excited. If you're raising your hand, just unmute yourself if you have something to say. I see 2 people have raised hands, but I don't know what that means. So I always just have people shout out what they want to shout out to me because I like to talk to people.
Hey, Nicole, can I just give my takeaway?
Sure.
And the biggest one for me was for you to say not to show up polished and perfect. That is the hurdle that I hate. I'm changing that because I used to say I hate doing live videos. I hate doing this. I hate doing that because I always felt the need that I had to look put together and polished. And I'm working daily on getting over that. And I so appreciate those who get on and do it anyway. We have phenomenal leaders that do that anyway, and it means a lot.
You know, and that's one thing I didn't talk about. In the beginning of my build, people tried to tell me who I should be, what I should look like, what I should do, what I should wear, what I shouldn't do. And I tried to fit into a mold that was not me. I tried to conform to what I thought I needed to be. And guess what happened to my business? Like the brakes went on because I wasn't congruent with myself. Here's the thing. I'm not perfect. I don't want to be perfect. I'm totally okay. I show up in gym clothes or sweats. 90% of the time, you guys, if you look at my social media, I have a hat on backwards. That is me. I almost showed up tonight with a hat on backwards. The only reason I didn't is I didn't plan it, but I had my hair done today. That's the only reason I look like I look is because I just happened to have my hair done today. I am not a girly girl. I just learned how to do my makeup. Like, I'm not joking. I just learned how to do my makeup. I'm 43. I'm just not that person. And guess what? I don't want to attract those people who think they need to be perfect. I don't want them in my life. Like, that is not what I want. I want to attract people that like what I like, that do what I do, that know what I know, because I can relate to them and I can make a connection with them. And I don't show up perfect ever because perfect isn't real. So show up authentically you, this is so important, unapologetically you. So Melinda, if you show up on a daily basis with, makeup or not makeup, it doesn't matter. People really, it's not about, like, they don't really care what you show up looking like. In my opinion, I don't care what other people have on. I really don't. Like, I don't care. Like, if you come as you, I'm super excited about that. I'd rather you come and show up in this world and shine your light really bright so you can shine your light on something I might need than not show up at all because you're afraid that your light is not the right light.
Thank you. And that's why I love you. I love the leaders we have because it forces us to get rid of baggage and to get rid of those old stories and to develop ourselves personally. It's like that is just the heart of what everyone does, and everybody does it with such love and tenacity, and it moves me. I saw Tammy, I don't know if she was wiping her eyes, but it made me cry when you said that, because it's so like, it just resonates so much. And I'm so thankful. Like you, and that's what I hear you saying, is that we need to turn around and be to other people what you show up for us as, because it moves people. It moves people.
It does. It really does. And I'm glad if what I just did changes one person's vision of selling, I'm so happy.
Yes.
Because it is scary. I get that. I really do get that. But if you're not afraid to be yourself, it'll take a lot of the fear out of selling. So if you're totally okay with yourself, and if you're not, please work on it. Mm-hmm. Please do some personal development. Work on being in love with yourself. I don't care what anyone else thinks of you. Be in love with yourself. And guess what? You're going to attract the people that need you. If you're trying to be something you're not, you're not going to be able to serve at the capacity you can if you're being you. And that was a hard lesson that I had to learn, because I was trying to show up with some of these top people in the company. Like I was trying to think, oh, I got to dress like them. I've got to act like them. I've got to have the house like them. Like those were thoughts that went in my mind. And I'm like, no, like I don't ever want some of those things. Like I don't want to dress like that. Like I'm happy in my clothes. I'm happy with who I am. I am happy with my hat backwards. Like I'm okay. Like I'm a snowboarder. I'm a wakeboarder. Like I'm a tomboy. Like I'm fully okay with it. Like I like to be dirty. I like to be, like, and I'm okay. I don't like to shop. Like it's me. Like I can't relate to someone who's like at the mall every day. Like that's not me. Like I just can't be that. But it doesn't mean that the person who likes to be there is wrong. They just relate to someone differently than me. Be you. Show up as you. Like please show up every single day in this world yourself.
So good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? No? One question I saw earlier. So Tammy, go ahead. You can unmute yourself, beautiful.
Thank you. I'm just trying to type away so fast. I saw somebody ask earlier, where are you meeting people for your cold market?
That's a whole nother training. So when I say that I talk to people everywhere, I really do. I talk to people on the line at Starbucks. I talk to people on the line at the grocery store. I talk to people at the dentist's office, the doctor's office, the school, PTO, sporting events, my kids' sporting events. I talk to everybody anywhere. My kids hate it. They're like, Mom, stop. You know everybody. And if you don't know them, you make a friend. Like, stop. I talk to people everywhere I go. Like cold market's really easy for me. Sometimes I think that my warm market's harder. Like selling to friends and family can be a little bit more intimidating. So I meet people in groups. I've actually done trainings on this. If you like figure out what you are about, you need to take some notes and figure out what you're really about. Like dig in and say, what do I like? Who am I? And if anyone needs to hop off, I'm sorry, we have gone over now, but I'm just going to answer because this is really important. If you're on Facebook, for example, and you love cats, right? You're a cat person, which I am not. I'm a dog person. I am part of groups because I have doodles. I have golden doodles and labradoodles. So there are groups for people who love their dogs. I also have my daughter has a rescue pit bull. So I am part of groups of those things. So I connect with snowboarders in groups. I connect with like moms of teenagers. Like find groups on Facebook. You will be surprised. There's something for everybody. Get involved in a group. If you like hiking, create a group. If you like walking, start a walking group. If you like reading, start a book club. Get involved in your neighborhood. Get involved in the PTO. Get involved in whatever. Do you go to church? Is there something at church you can get involved in? How are you connecting to people? And I think someone did a connecting piece. I can't remember. There's so many trainings. If not, I'm sure someone's going to do training on connecting. But You have to be out. Do not sit behind your computer.
Yeah.
I've made that mistake of sitting behind my computer and connecting with people here, but it's the face-to-face. Like if I don't know someone personally, I will try to get them in front of me. Now, that being said, I have people that I've signed up all over the country because of people in groups. So I do sign up people all over the country and other countries because I get into groups and I meet people. So again, please don't go in for the sell of Isagenix. Go in to connect. Go in to build a relationship. Add them as a friend, because guess what? They're going to watch your social media. If you're not being consistent on social media, you got to start being consistent on social media. You have to share your story congruently with yourself, authentically as yourself, transparently as yourself. Start sharing what you're doing, how you're doing it. And I'm not saying you have to like smear Isagenix all over your page, because I don't do that. But I am creating curiosity on my Facebook page daily, like about my lifestyle, about losing weight, about having energy, about sleep. It works. People contact me all the time. What are you doing? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Because I create curiosity, and I don't have it all over my Facebook page. So you make friends, you add them as a friend on Facebook, and then they're going to see your story and they're going to ask you. It's the whole get them to ask you instead of you chasing them. Get them to chase you. So live your life out loud. I just went to my son's training the other day. He's doing like a speed and agility. I had my Isagenix hat on backwards. I had an Isagenix jacket on because it was cool. It was early in the morning. I had my Isagenix cup. And this gentleman was sitting next to me, and my husband was on the other side, and we just started talking. And I always ask someone, well, what do you do? Because he had just moved here. I'm like, oh, what do you do? When you ask, what do you do? Guess what they ask? What do you do? Right? And when I told him, he's like, well, I figured, but I didn't want to assume, because I was like, I'm an executive with Isagenix. I help people both physically and financially. And he's like, well, I kind of figured. He's like, so I've heard about it, but I don't know what it is. And I kind of explained it right then and there. And he's like, I need that. I really need that. I'm in the car all day, blah, blah, blah. And so we've got an appointment. Like, you have to be open to having conversations everywhere you go. If I'm standing in the line at Starbucks, for example, the person in front of me yawns. You can say, oh my gosh, totally remember when I used to need Starbucks to wake up. And they're going to turn around and look at you like you have four eyes. Like, what do you mean you used to need Isagenix or coffee? And I'm like, yeah, I don't need it anymore. I found an incredible solution. Like, I just come here for green tea. And they're going to look at you like most people cannot function without coffee.
Right.
And then they're going to ask you, okay, well, what is it? Because I can't even get through the day without my coffee. I didn't throw it out there. I didn't even talk about Isagenix yet, but they're going to go, well, what do you have? Because I need that. Like, I'm tired of living off caffeine. So you got to be really good about noticing and listening for people to leave you clues to drop another clue. So people talk about being tired all the time. They talk about not being happy in their body all the time. You have to be constantly aware of what people are talking about. My daughter is so aware of it. Her teacher said something the other day. She came home. She's like, hey, Mom, so-and-so said that they, blah, 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 blah. You should talk to them about Isagenix. Like, I was like, yes, she's listening. Just talk about it. Ask people questions. Live out loud. That's the best I can tell you. Live out loud. Don't be ashamed of what you do. Don't be ashamed of what you have to offer. Because I think so many of us are a little bit afraid to be who we are in the world. We get in the Isagenix community and we feel loved, and we have all these Isagenix people on our Facebook page, and we feel really comfortable. And Tracy O'Malley we were in like a business challenge one time, and she's like, I need you to stop being friends with Isagenix people. I need you to unfollow all your friends. You can be friends with them, but unfollow them, right? Don't comment on any Isagenix people's pages, and watch what happens to your feed. Okay, I barely follow my own team anymore. I'm friends with them. I go to their pages, but I don't follow them because I need people to show up in my feed that need Isagenix. So all of you people who are constantly loving on each other's Isagenix pages and only Isagenix people, the people who need you will never find you because your feed is full of Isagenix people. It's really hard to swallow when you think about it. Tanya Kirkpatrick and I do not comment on each other's stuff. She doesn't comment on mine. I don't comment on hers. Why would I do that? I'm just helping. Like, I'm bringing her up in the algorithm. I don't want her in my page. Like, I'm friends with her, right? But I don't follow her because I need people that I'm friends with to see my stuff, because there are people that have yet to experience isogenics. I don't accept friend requests from isogenics people anymore because my page is open. They can follow me. They can see what I'm doing. I won't accept friends except for my. Be very intentional about the way that you're going about your business, because this is a business. This is a business. So those are probably some of my best pieces of advice. And now I've gone way over. I'm going to get in trouble. I hope that helped.
Yes. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anybody else? You can follow people, but not friend. Yes. So you can follow me. Like if you wanted to follow me, for example, you can follow, but you don't have to be my friend. I have lots of people who follow me, and they're all isogenics people, most likely. I might have a training on a video that I did for another team. I can look, Terry. If you'll message me privately, I can try to get that. Trisha says that we're still partying. Yes, we're still partying, Trisha. All right, you guys have a great night. I am going to go spend some time with my kiddos. I appreciate everyone who watched and asked questions and participated. Thank you. You guys have a great night.